G'day all, Dave here, the train guy from the Hobby Man by Hearns. Okay, we are doing the CAC SB bus. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, why is Dave doing a bus? He's gone to the dark side. No, he hasn't. And there's very good reason for this. And I'm actually quite excited by this new release. And it's from Road Ragers. Now, as us Australian modelers often find, there's, especially if you're modeling HO, there seems to be, probably even N-scale too, there's a definite lack of commercial vehicles. In the past there's been some little cottage industry products like trucks and buses, but Road Rager, these guys, who have actually produced some pretty awesome, that would help if I got the right way, some pretty awesome Australian Aussie cars in the past, which we probably haven't really touched on. But as you can see, things like the HG Monaro and the Tirana, just to touch on a few that they've done in the past. Now these have been great, but they haven't touched on any commercial vehicles until now. So what they have done, they have brought out the CAC SB7 bus. Yeah, so it's a bit of a godsend for us guys. And especially like myself, who's building an Australian-based layout or a Victorian-based layout, Northeast line. These are brilliant, especially if you're modelling in a certain time period. Anyway, a brief introduction about the bus. The buses were built by the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation, CAC, which is a Melbourne-based factory. It was just before the war to build aircraft for the war effort. And as I said before, CAC, Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation, were usually famous for this sort of thing. Yeah, the Commonwealth CA Boomerang was one of their famous products, along with the Beaufort and the PA-51, and also the Sabre jet fighter, which they built just down the road here at Fisherman's Bend. So yeah, but after the war, they went into doing things like pressure cookers and things like buses. So yeah, so hence the SB7 bus was created. Now the buses were modern by their day, because up until that point, most buses were basically built on things like your Austin truck chassis, timber and sheet metal bodies. So these buses at the time were considered to be quite modern, although they don't have disability access, they're not air conditioned, they don't have cloth seats, and numerous other things, but for their day they were quite modern, and they actually had a fairly long life. They were powered by Holden engines, and they were built literally just down the road, that way, down at Port Melbourne at Fisherman's Bend. Side by side, a lot of aircraft, and there's actually pictures of the earlier version of the SB7, or it's the one before it came in, actually being built side by side, the Australian license built version of the Mustang. So yeah, they are an Indigenous Australian bus. So enough about the history. Moving forwards, we'll just do the unboxing now. Road Ragers have released 4 versions to date, and hopefully there'll be more to come. As these buses would have been very numerous. They would have been used right around Australia in different states, and they wouldn't be out of place being used or seen out the front of a shopping centre or a main street or a country road doing a school run, a Sunday school run. These buses had a long life. You would often see them in being put into secondary uses. I can remember as a teenager growing up in a regional country town, and we still had one being used on a school run, and that was in the mid-80s, so they had a long life. Probably for some of the adventurous modelers out there, you could probably even weather them or even convert them into a motorhome, panel up some windows, put a motorbike on the back, an aircon unit, a trailer. They have been used as motorhomes. But anyway, moving forwards, we'll do the unboxing. Now the first one, which, even though surprisingly enough it does look very much like the famous Melbourne bus line Ventura, it's actually Duffy's of Bundaberg, but you can always incorporate a bit of modelling license into that. The second one on offer, even though it looks like an American school bus, it's not. It's actually got the steering wheel on the right hand side, and we'll just open it up. Sort of a rather unusual choice, I felt. Okay, here we go. And And if you look closely, yeah, the font looks very, hang on, there we go. Getting a bit of reflection there. Yeah, the font looks very much like a 60s sort of like style of handwriting or sign writing. And there we go. Now this would look really good if you placed it on your layout with some school kids running up to it or coming up to a bus stop. Yeah, that's the front one. And the third one is, I won't take it out of the box, is Trinity College. So someone must have gone to Trinity College or been inspired to produce this one. Looking rather smart in its blue and white scheme. And last, but it's probably the hot selling one for us, and I think for everybody else, is the famous Dandenong bus line blenders. Yeah, and this is my own personal one. Believe me, I wasted no time getting this one for myself. There we go. Now, for you guys out there that want a bit of vintage Australian motoring history, it's actually been released, as you can obviously tell, in a Perspex box. And that's all great. If you're a bus guy, I won't hold anything against you. No, but seriously, for us guys that may have a use for it, it's just a simple matter of one screw. So it says. Yeah. It's too good to be in a box. So it's detailed, but it doesn't have any like fiddly added on detail. So we're not going to be knocking stuff off. It has a bit of basic underside detail with an exhaust pipe. I'm assuming that would have been a Holden Bedford engine. I think they might have been petrol or diesel powered. I think I'm not completely sure on that. And a really nice little touch is the screen printing on this. So yeah, it looks quite smart. And if you've got some magnifying goggles, modelling goggles, you actually see they have done the number plates, and you're not going to see it on this camera. They've actually done the screen print of the number plate on. Other things to note is obviously the seats, and you can probably tell with mine, I've actually put a few passengers in there. Get that straight, sorry guys. Just angle it in. Got to learn how to do this in reverse. There you go. Yeah, I put a few passengers in there, and I've even done a driver. And so you have seats, and you have a steering wheel, and you have a driver. So you won't have the ghost bust effect. So if you want to go to that little bit of extra effort, you can put people in there. Just a disclaimer: what I had to do with mine was drill out a pop rivet and a pop rivet. And then I used, suggestion only, Woodland Scenics sitting and wait, or people sitting and waiting. And if you are interested, you do order this online, yeah, just go to the model railway accessories section. We do have people sitting down. This one here, 16 passengers. Yes, and I know they're not all sitting down, but you can probably chop them in half and glue them in the seats bit. You don't need a whole lot of passengers to make it look any good. So there you have it. So regardless of what period you're modeling, whether it's in the 50s, 60s, you could probably find an excuse to have one of these on your layout or in your mantelpiece. If you met your first true love on a Glenda's bus, and yes, Customs already told me that story, you can. If you're having it on a school bus run, you can. Out front of a shopping centre, a railway station, a church, or a country road, you got a bus. And God forbid if you had a breakdown with your model railway because you had dodgy wiring, you can also organise a bus transfer, God forbid. But anyway, if you are interested in any of these models, they're all on our website. If we're out of stock, just contact the store, but I'm pretty sure we'll have good stocks. So I can give you the codes. Yeah, just type in CC/87R063. That's for the Duffy's one from Bundaberg, that one. If you are interested in the Tiffany College one, it is CC/87R068. And the Glenda's one, which I know is probably the one everybody wants, CC/87R063. 87R064. And like I said, the people are easy to find. Just go to Model Railway Accessories and you can just probably pick and choose. Anyway, any order over $100 is free of charge in terms of freight, and they're at both stores, at the Flinders Street store, at being Hearns, and the Hobby Man out at Narre Warren. So until then, yeah, hope this was interesting to you guys. Have fun with it, and see you until next time. Cheers, bye.